I always consider myself as someone positive who has a happy and joyful life, which is I'm super duper grateful for. And when I ask myself questions that what made me and what I've done to create this kind of life that I'm having right now, and I think there's a lots of answers to that question, but in today's video I want to focus on two the habits that I have developed over the past nearly 10 years. These are the habits as not new to you. I'm sure that you've heard about that, but these are the habits that I'm consistently practice, do, and never rarely miss a day, and that I have carried with me since a really long time, nearly a decade. So what are these habits? The first one I would say is waking up early in the morning. And I know that you might say to me that while I'm not an early bird, can I tell you something? I wasn't an early bird either, but then I think probably will be probably 10 years ago I came across the book, few books from Robin Sharma, and it's funny enough because he's recently launched, probably would be like 2-3 years ago, he launched another book called The 5 a.m. Club. I haven't read it yet, but he was the one who inspired me to wake up early in the morning. And I start first with 6 a.m. and then to 5:30 to 5 a.m. and now I wake up every day around 4 to 4:30 a.m. And when I tell people about that I wake up early in the morning, everyone's reaction is gonna be, are you crazy? And I think the fact of waking up too early in the morning, but also there was wondering what I'm doing during that 4-5 hours of waking up from 4 a.m. to let's say 8 a.m. before I go to work. So I wake up and the first thing I do is to meditate. 15-20 minutes, sometimes it can be half an hour or even 1 hour. I used to use the guided meditations, but then recently I just sit still on, or we call it Vipassana meditation. It's just because I think that usually on a day-to-day basis I've heard so many noise, and so during that time I just want to be super silent and spend time with myself. So after meditation I kind of spend around 45 minutes to do yoga or any exercise, mostly as yoga, but sometimes I do some Pilates, and sometimes I run to the beach as well because I live nearby the beach. And then and after that I made myself a cacao. I love cacao. It just allowed me to really sink into my feminine energy, and just really allowed me to really focus more into my heart center and just really open from there. So why I drink a cacao and I have a little ceremony for myself, and then I start journaling. And then I think it's so important for me to really writing things in the morning. It's not about what I'm going to do today, but it's about how I'm feeling today, what kind of the feelings or the emotion that I want to carry with me within the day. And I think this is so important, because I just feel like when I wake up in the morning I have more times for myself instead of just sleeping in and doing nothing. And I know that lots of people say that you need to sleep 7 to 8 hours per day. I don't know if it maybe makes sense, and maybe someone's gonna say something, but I'm talking from my personal experience. For me, it's not about the length of your sleep, but it's about the quality of your sleep. So even if I sleep 7-8 hours, but I wake up tired because I did not sleep deeply, I would never want that. Rather than choose to sleep maybe 4 to 5 hours or even 6 hours, but it's gonna be go really deep in your sleep, and you wake up next day, you feel so fresh. So yeah, for me, it's having that me time in the mornings allow me to really center myself, focus, instead of before starting with a busy day and busy life. I have that moment to really ground myself and to set an intention about, you know, how I want to feel today, and it's allowed me to got that space to spend time with myself, to get to know myself, and to get to know my thoughts, to get to know my feelings. And so I think it's so important that if you may not need to wake up like 4 a.m. in the morning like me, but at least some sort of early in the morning to spend a bit time with yourself, rather than, you know, waking up, rushing into the toilet, taking a shower and rushing go to work, and you constantly in that machine, that system of always tense and stress and always busy. So that is the first habit that I've developed. The second habit that I developed, which is integrate as well into the first habit, is journaling. I cannot say enough how important it is to write your thoughts down, because how am I just like a spaghetti, and we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, and I think as a woman we have more thoughts than men. And if we keep everything in your head, and then they all connect into each other, and it creates a lot of story inside your head, and then eventually it makes you feel stressful and anxious and worries and all these things. So the journalings, I have developed that habit way before I knew what is a spirituality. I think I started journalings when I was in grade 7. I like to make friends with myself. I like to get to know myself. I like to get to know what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling. Or sometimes, you know, I don't want to talk badly about another person with other person, so I tend to, like, you know, release and take all the things that I'm thinking in my head at that moment out. And it's just like the best way. It's like the best therapist I ever have. I've never had therapist though, but journaling I consider as my therapist. And you know, when you write things down, I think it's just so much easier for you to, you know, really unload all these thoughts in your head, but at the same time you see things clearly, because when you see your thoughts written down right now on the paper, you kind of look at that and you say, wow, that's not really bad. It's not that crazy as I thought, right? So highly recommended to journal. And another thing is meditation. And this is a person who at the beginning say clearly that meditation, it's not for me. I remember the first time when I meditate was at 2014 or 15 when I started meditating. I like lots of thoughts running into my head. I was like, ooh, that is too much. I cannot handle it. This is not for me. But then, you know, over and over again, I did not give up. I just constantly, today is not the perfect day, but tomorrow I'm going to start it again and again and again. And honestly, learn to meditate, and meditation is one of the best things I ever have done for myself. It's because it's allowed you, it's like journaling as well. It's allowed me to calm myself down, be grounded in the center, and consider, and then just realize that thoughts just comes and go, and when I meditate, it's allowed me to have that space between my thoughts and myself, so I can observe that. And because I can observe that, now I can choose what thoughts I want to carry and what thoughts I do not want to carry. And most of the time I kind of let it go. It's just like a cloud in the skies, but it's just flowing, and when you do not focus your intention into that, you just observe that, and it's naturally disappear. And these kind of things really help me a lot. For example, if during the day, if I have any thoughts negative, or any that correlates on an emotion negatively, then I kind of sit back a little bit, observe that, acknowledge how I'm feeling, but then just not following with that thoughts, but just really observe that. And then as soon as I observe that and I just watch that, and then it's gonna be like this, it come and go and disappear. And it's allowed me to be in the flow with life instead of just really attached to some certain thoughts. And the lastly is gonna be a yoga, or whether if you're not a fan of yoga, then maybe you move your body. But I chose yoga, it's because it's not only just the physical aspect that helped me and support me, but more importantly is in terms of energy. So when I move my body on the yoga mat, I allow my energy, because sometimes, you know, what I've been told is that sometimes we store lots of energy within our body, and it's stuck there. And so by doing yoga, it's allowed me to really move that energies and release that energy gently. There we go. That's all the habits that I have developed the past 10 years, 9 years. And I would say, when I look back right now, I think the most importantly is the consistent. Because especially when it's become a new habit, it's a very difficult, because it's not something that you program to, but if you see the importance of that, and then you consistently showing up, practice, and eventually one day it's become a part of you, and you don't need to make an effort for that. Like, I don't need to drag myself out from the bed and then going to do yoga, meditation. No, it's come so natural for me. It's like the ways I wake up, and then to take a showers or brush your teeth, it's become a really autopilot kind of habit. And I just believe, I just think that when we build a habit in an autopilot, and this habit is really helpful and useful for you, I think that can be a big advantage for your life. These habits really help me a lot to develop myself, but also allow me to handle life, or to face the challenge in life in more easier way. So yeah, whatever the habits that you decide to pick up, then I hope that you're gonna stick with that, and trust me, when you stick around with the habits that you think is important for you, eventually it's gonna come back and to support your life. I hope that the videos can help you and inspire you to start to build a new habit that supports your life. Bye for now.